beginning in a few minutes, so hopefully you can all hear me okay. Please keep your microphones muted throughout, because we will be recording this webinar. If you do have any technical problems, just let us know using the chat panel on the right-hand side, which can be accessed through the menu at the top of your screen. Okay, so we're now ready to begin today's webinar, which is looking at building blocks for effective innovation. My name's Luisa and I'm Research Solutions Director here at NMR. If you have any questions throughout the session, please feel free to send them through to us, either using the chat panel through the webinar software or through tweeting using the hashtag NMRWebinar. And we'll try and come back to questions at the end if we have time. It should take around 15 minutes today, and a nice quick one for you. So this is the third in a series of 5 short webinars around the theme of effective innovation. Recordings of the last 2 sessions will be available to download on our website. For today's session, we've brainstormed 10 factors which, in our experience, help to contribute to effective innovation programs. So this will build on our understanding after looking at the barriers of innovation and sources for inspiration in the previous 2 sessions. And then we'll come on in the final sessions 4 and 5 to look at how this can apply to research and some of the solutions that NMR offers. As we run through the building blocks to successful innovation today, I'd like you just to think about how success is defined in your organisation. So when a new product launches, how is it determined whether it's a success or not? Or what counts as a failure? Just something to bear in mind as we go through, and we'll come back and look at this at the end. If you do want to share those with us, then please do using the hashtag NMRWebinar or by typing the answers into the chat panel on the right-hand side. Okay, so here's an overview of our 10 building blocks. I'm going to run through each of these in turn, so don't worry about taking them all in now. But before I go through them, I just wanted to note that I do appreciate that this is a really long checklist. It's quite a lot to keep in mind. So it's more about being mindful of what's within your power to change within your organisation and what you just need to work around if there is no power to change things. They also range from quite simple considerations through to more wholesale ways of working. So again, it's just something to bear in mind as we go through. Okay, let's get started. So the first building block is having a real consumer need as a starting point. So when we talked about sources of inspiration last week, we talked about despite the varying places you can get inspiration for innovation, the important thing is that it's grounded in a real consumer need to ensure success. And single-mindedness in terms of what the business is looking to achieve will really help you stay true to this consumer need throughout development. Linked to this is being really single-minded around who you're targeting and why. And having this clarity up front will help you maintain this focus throughout the innovation cycle and ensure that the place you end up in is going to deliver against this. Realistic ambitions are really important. And this helps with the understanding of whether a launch has been a success or not. But it also will impact the way you approach an innovation throughout the process. It's vital to stay really focused and appreciate that not everything is going to be the next big thing. A lot of innovation success will come from incremental gains or bringing new news to your brand. So appreciating the role of your new launch from the outset is vital and what the business needs it to achieve. Even if your product does have potential to be the next big thing, it may not research well at a general population level. And we'll talk more about this in the last couple of sessions. Number 3 is the importance of building on past experience. So it's vital that innovation projects aren't just viewed as individual initiatives, but there is always transferable learnings that can really improve your next endeavour. Unfortunately, in our industry, we do see a high turnover in marketing managers, And whilst this is great for bringing fresh ideas to the brand, we, as a long-standing agency partner for many of our clients, do see similar ideas being explored on almost a 2 or 3 year cycle. There's nothing wrong with that per se, as it might be that ideas that didn't have legs a few years ago now might have potential. But it's important that you really build on previous explorations to make sure that the same mistakes aren't made again. So challenge your agencies where you do have strong partnerships and look for them to review previous research wherever relevant to bring out these key learnings that can help your current projects. Plus, learning from other categories is really useful here to help shape your innovation and the way you approach the new project. And this is something that we talked about a bit last week when we were looking at the sources of inspiration. Okay, number 4. So we've already got a real consumer need as the start point for the project. Actually, it's important to keep the consumer at the heart of the process throughout the development of the product. So where we've observed real success, it's where clients have regularly checked in throughout the process to really ensure all elements of the proposition are shaped with the consumers at the heart of it. So getting their feedback, seeing what works, what doesn't work, making sure that all aspects of the development are true to that initial idea and initial consumer need identified, to make sure everything's been created in harmony and works for the consumer. And this process is much easier if there's joined-up thinking throughout the business, a collaboration between the different teams involved in the innovation process. Saying that joint-up thinking and collaboration is essential might seem quite obvious, but unfortunately, we often observe marketing and R&D working in silos. At its most extreme, this can result in a fantastic product and an excellent positioning or concept, but a disconnect between the two. But important information or objectives can also be lost when the baton is passed between teams at different stages of the innovation cycle. And there's a high risk of only finding this out at the final validation stage, if that's the only point at which the different components are brought together. The voice of the consumer can and should provide a common language and reference point to unite all the different teams, and again, keeping them at the heart will help keep the innovation process on track. Number 6. So we talked a bit in the first session about a rigid adherence to processes being a potential barrier to innovation. So on the flip side to this, we've seen clients achieve real success when they've had the confidence and flexibility to shape an offering as it progresses, incorporating the consumer feedback. So touching base with the consumers throughout the process and having the ability to, and agility really, to change the what the proposition looks like to incorporate that feedback, rather than keeping a fixed approach which actually isn't being shown to work with consumers because it's too difficult to make changes at a later stage. Number 7 is the importance of a partnership and strong communication levels between manufacturers and their agency partners. So that's in terms of research agencies, but also creative agencies, packaging agencies, etc. And at LMR, we can help our clients the most when we develop a strong partnership. When we have real collaboration and openness from all involved, it really helps us to help you to move things forward and ensure you get more than just a response to a brief from your suppliers. Number 8 is to recognise the importance of packaging. Packaging is often viewed simply as a cost rather than as a way to enhance the success of a new product. And too often, the packaging is predefined by what's available or an afterthought right at the end of the process. Packaging can help create truly differentiated and really special MPD through using structural form, visual identity, different textures, etc., as well as just the design to really enhance the overall experience and the execution of your brand. Number 9 is consideration of the retail story and selling as part of the process. We've seen great ideas fail in market because the activation was not optimal. So not enough consideration given at the early stages to the competitive set, the role the product's going to play in people's lives, even the location in store. The retail story should be built as part of the whole MPD process, and that will really help get retailers on side, even at an earlier stage. And you can do this through looking for research that can support your selling throughout the process, and looking for videos, quotes, etc., as well as the hard numbers to support your case. Number 10, it might be the last, but actually it's a really important consideration. Too often we see tweaks between final research and then the eventual launch of a product. These may actually just be small changes which make little impact in isolation, but in culmination can impede your success. So it might be a slight change to the ingredients, a slight change to packaging material, small tweaks that potentially save costs or changes to suppliers. Actually, overall, this can end in quite a different consumer experience to what you set out with. So for true success, you need to hold true and make sure you're creating the right product and pack to really bring your consumer promise to life. And if it's not financially viable to deliver perfectly against the consumer expectations that you're looking to deliver against, then bigger questions should be asked around the validity of the launch. So I asked at the beginning about what successful innovation looks like for your business. And I think actually this is a really important consideration, and it's one that will affect the relative importance of the building blocks as well. In our industry, we talk a lot about the proportion of new products which go on to fail in market. However, each new launch should only be judged against the specific objectives that were associated with that project. My colleague recently used the analogy, if you come 400th in a race but achieve a personal best, then have you failed? And that's a very nice way to think about new products and whether they're a success or not. Innovation success is not only judged in terms of absolute financial gain or longevity on the market. If a new product is perfectly targeting a niche group of people at a certain point in time, and that was the main objective behind the launch, then that could be a success. Likewise, if your aim is to create new news for your brand, or alter perceptions of your brand through shifting what people think about it through a new product, then actually, if you achieve that, even if your product's not on the shelf in 2 years' time, then that could be viewed as a success. So know what you're trying to achieve, and this should impact the whole process as well as how success is measured. So your gate process throughout the innovation cycle should be determined by what your aims are for the launch overall. And again, a one-size-fits-all approach isn't appropriate. So coming back to our building blocks and our 10 building blocks or considerations, these are the things that determine successful innovation. How would we expect to really identify which products are going to be a success through research if we only focus on total sample liking, historic norms, and through asking direct questions? The simple answer is we can't. And we're increasingly finding that our clients saying that traditional concept screening or even volume estimation is being questioned as a reliable predictor of success. So I'm going to play a quick video now, an advert from a car manufacturer. And I just wanted to show this to you because it's how research is too often viewed. There's only a quick reference to research near the beginning, but I think actually it does summarise how research is viewed in a lot of organisations. So I hope this plays for you all okay. If not, let me know and I can send you a link. Let's play now.
Purpose of car design: to look pretty, to follow market research, or to affect you here. translate any movement. To make every second of the wheel a new experience. To take out what's not essential. And make what remains more ergonomic. To use technology to wake the senses. To shorten the distance between the surface of the road and the hair on your skin. Voila! That's the purpose of Peugeot design.
So I came across this advert by accident, but I do think it sums up how research is viewed and how it's often not seen to be contributing to a great design of a new product. Actually, well-designed research taken into consideration alongside those 10 building blocks can really tap into consumer desires to drive design and not be how it's reflected in this advert. So we think research should be a positive influence on the process, working with consumers at the heart to help create better products, enabling research to shape the process rather than being a barrier to or something that you need to pass to progress to the next stage. So we're more and more trying to look at research as a force for good. We'll look at this in more detail in the last couple of sessions. In the meantime, it would be great if you just think about how the research you conduct in your organisation helps you with MPD, and where potentially you could use consumers more effectively to design successful innovation products. Okay, so as mentioned, next webinar is on the 24th of July, so there's a bit of a break now before the next one. And we're going to be looking at common research traps and a guiding set of principles to help ensure that research does drive you forward rather than being a barrier to success. And then finally, we'll finish up on the 31st of July with some MMR solutions, which take all of these things into account. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to send them through to me by my email address on the screen or by calling our switchboard number. We will send through a recording of this webinar later today, and if you'd like to register for the final webinar, then please do so on our website. Thanks so much. Goodbye.